Capricorn, welcome to your end of September 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Okay. Let's see what we got on this. Oops. Boy, does this... There's your card. Okay, I'm going to pick an additional card to the Devil card. Not that there's anything particularly wrong with, but it doesn't feel... it doesn't... Oh my God. Can you believe this? Okay. Wow, that is so freaky. Because, let me tell you why it's freaky. First of all, a lot of major arcana cards. I've only picked 7 cards, and I have 3 at the bottom, which are kind of the result cards that are all major arcana, which is like significant changes or happenings, circumstances. So, right on its surface, this may be a card dealing with inheritance issues. Okay, the 6 of Pentacles can be a card of inheritance. It's funny because I just did a reading for another sign, and I didn't mention that about the 6 of Pentacles being that about inheritance, but we have here as the central theme the 5 of Cups, which is a card of mourning the loss of something or someone. And I mean, it could be a job too. I mean, especially nowadays with all of the kinds of ups and downs that we've been experiencing in the past 6 months, and you know, people getting laid off and then they get rehired, and then it might be a different dynamic going on. So mourning the loss of something, maybe turning your, maybe not seeing the silver lining, those 2 cups that are upright, that the person has their back to. In the past position, we have the 6 of Pentacles, and this is a card of give and take financially. So when somebody has a sense of fair play about when they're paying somebody else, or when they are receiving money, maybe this is a card of receiving help, assistance from somebody after you have lost your job. But I think it can also be inheritance issues. And in this particular case, there's a lot of emotions going on, because we have as the heart, the higher message, the 10 of Swords, which can be a card of betrayal. So at the very same time that you're mourning the loss of somebody, you may be also dealing with people around you who have let you down in some way, who have shown their true colors. Well, you know, when money is concerned, and you may feel this sense of, I don't know, disgust, betrayal, things like that, or in the workplace, finding out that somebody was somebody that you might have trusted was the one who was actually actively working against you to get you fired or to get your hours cut. And you can't, perhaps you can't live on that. And you feel like, okay, now I have to leave this environment simply because somebody wanted what I had or that I was going to get. I didn't say this as well, but there can be, this might even be like a divorce where maybe you did not want the divorce, but perhaps even the other person, but you know, sometimes like you don't want to leave a relationship, but the other person is doing something that makes it that much more likely to. So it becomes really inevitable, or it's something that you feel like you have to do. And therefore, so let me give you an example. Let's say somebody, you're married and your spouse cheats on you, and then you're like, you find out about it and you're understandably upset. So you go to file for a divorce, and then they want funds from you, since you're divorcing them. So it's like they're using that as an excuse to get money out of you, even though they're the one that was doing the negative thing in the relationship. I don't know if legally that would stand, but I'm just saying. What crosses you is the Four of Wands. And this is the card of a happy home, happy marriage, and things like that. So, and I don't know if it's just marriage in general, although I would say the family life, for the fourth house, family. But it's in the challenge position. So something that is going on is kind of affecting that. If it's like an inheritance issue, that even if it's with your family, it could be affecting your marriage because you're in a bad mood and, you know, your family is bearing the brunt of that. So, or, you know, a workplace matter, it's causing some kind of negative energetic transfer to your family, and they're feeling it, and maybe they don't like it. Maybe they wish something would change so they don't have to deal with this. What is coming in is the Judgment card. I mean, you know, Judgment. So Judgment simply means cause and effect. Sometimes people say karma, but I don't like to use the word karma because we come from this authoritarian mentality in our society that, yeah, you're going to get yours. That it sounds like punishment. And really, it's like, no, you reap what you sow. Just like in the physical universe. But anyway, this is, you can see like the fire in the air. It's almost like walking through the fire. It's a baptism by fire. So it's like a trial that can lead to a rebirth for you. And judgment can be a legal thing, where it's a legal judgment that you're awaiting, because maybe until you get that judgment, you feel kind of trapped between two places, and you feel like you can't fully move your life forward. Remember that Saturn has gone back into your sign, and Saturn is your ruler, Capricorn. So I feel like if we look at this issue as, you know, in the bigger picture, that perhaps it can be that when Saturn goes into Aquarius, which is in December of 2020, that is when you fully move ahead. Having Saturn is going direct, though, at the end of September. So that might be a turning point as well for you, since it's your ruler. Maybe you felt like in a holding pattern of some sort and revisiting an issue that you'd like to move forward, but something is holding it back. Maybe that's your ruler. And whenever it's held back, it's the reason ultimately is to get people to reflect upon whatever it is that is going on. That is the ultimate reason, so that they put, you know, maybe barriers are put on our ability to do certain things to the fullest extent in order to force us to slow down and to deal with what we're already, to assimilate what we've already changed in our life. So Saturn, you know, being your ruler is significant, but being in your sign as a whole is significant as well, because that Saturn, I mean, going back into your sign, because that's the first house of the self, and for the rising sign, it's the new cycle beginning. So it's like having to have a do-over for some of that before you can fully move forward in your new cycle. And the fact that you have Jupiter in Capricorn as well, and Jupiter just went direct, that can bode well going into October. So speaking of Capricorn, then I got as the outcome card the Devil card. Now, one of the things, I could have left it here. I really could have. It's not like bad luck or something bad to get the Devil card as the final card. The Devil card is like, there are so many possibilities. It can be the devil you know. So for instance, if somebody stays in a relationship with somebody that they clearly do not see eye to eye with anymore, it still can be the devil I know. I'm not happy, but it could be worse. If it's really, really, really bad, a person will say, I don't care. I don't care that I don't have any money in the bank. I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. I'm going to lose my mind. When you're at that stage, all bets are off, and you don't even need to worry who's a devil, who isn't. Now, the Devil card obviously can point to evil. But evil is not always, the kind of things, the axe murderer type of evil. And evil can be ignorance. The person's consciousness is veiled, and they don't know that they have a higher self, that they survive death, that it's not just about getting yours in this lifetime. Because a devil can be about greed. It can be about excess materialism, which is greed, lust, the sins of the flesh. I'd like to say the pleasures of the flesh. So let's say you're dealing with an inheritance issue. This card coming up is saying, you better be aware of what exactly you're dealing with here. You're dealing with somebody or some people who have no problem lying to your face, for instance. The devil, you've heard of that saying that Satan is a deceiver. Now, personally, I don't believe in Satan. I think that Satan is a bogeyman to try to scare people. I think that there are, I think there's lower energy. And I think that there are people who have crossed over who had that lower energy in this lifetime, and they continue to try to create problems for people in the physical. But I don't believe in this head honcho devil. No, I don't believe in that. However, it doesn't matter what I believe. All it matters is what you believe. But the point is that I don't want people to be disempowered by this fear of this external entity. To me, a lot of that is projection, of a person's shadow, and they don't want to claim those things as part of their persona, what they do. So they have to assign a devil. If somebody is full of lust, they can't just say I'm full of lust. They have to say the devil is tempting me to be lustful. And that kind of they can distance themselves from their shadow because they feel ashamed that they have lust. So that's how I feel. So that the Devil card can mean many different things, but I also think of the narcissist. People have described narcissists as, being kind of possessed, maybe, because of the way that they act, the way that they approach life. And so if you're dealing with somebody who is, who has put you through hell, maybe is trying to take money from you in some way, realize what you're working with. Don't get caught up in, but he or she is really good, they did this or they did that. It's not about demonizing the person, but about respecting their, I was going to say respecting their evil. Respecting that, that they are fully capable of doing very bad things and not caring they don't have a conscience. And that, the sociopath doesn't have a conscience. Others, they don't have feelings. Maybe they have a conscience that prevents them from doing really, really heinous things. But just be on the lookout for that. If this is a sibling who is trying to take money, understand that this person may sometimes be sweetness and light to you. And they're doing so in a conniving way. I believe that people can change. Even, people who have spent many years hurting others in a calculated way. I really do. I'm just kind of an eternal optimist. But that doesn't mean that if I were dealing with one of these types face to face over some issue, that I would not be completely on top of my game. I would not let down any guard, because they are very good at exploiting weaknesses. So it's up to you to realize this and not fall for their con job by being charming, when a lot of times they're anything but that. The outcome is the Death card, and the Death card means letting go of something that is inevitably gone, rather than clinging to it, thinking about the good old days and things like that, realizing that something is over. That doesn't mean that it has to consume you, that you have to be, kept in this state of grief, like the Five of Cups. And getting back to, like, if you have lost somebody, my condolences. The Death card can be about healing that grief. Sometimes grief is because the person is, doesn't understand death and thinks that it's the end forever. And once you cultivate your faith, you don't ever have that. Dylan Thomas, the famous Welsh poet, a poem that I always think about. Refusal to mourn a child lost in a fire in Wales. I think that was the name of it. After the first death, there is no other. That's the last line of the poem. It still gives me chills, because once you've experienced the death of somebody you really care about, there is no other. You process that experience of death, and then you're able to see it on different terms. And Dylan Thomas was a Scorpio, so he, Scorpio is associated with the Death card, and it's a card of it's a poem that makes me, I actually experienced this in my own life, and that poem brought me great comfort. And I think John Keats was born on the same date as, not the same year, but the same day as Keats, as Dylan Thomas. So I love poetry, can you tell? In any case, and I think he wrote about death too. Death is inevitable. My partner one time was meditating in a park, and some young punk came by and said, "Hey man, death is inevitable," something like that. And I don't know if it pissed him off or it just amused him or both. But, I often think about that. And so the idea is, like, people meditate to cheat death. Well, that's not true. So the Death card is about embracing change. The The 8th house that Scorpio rules is really about transformation. And it's about death. It's about death. So death is the ultimate transformation. And this may just simply be within yourself, that you are undergoing major transformation. Wouldn't surprise me with all these planets transiting Capricorn. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. Okay, that's what I have for you, Capricorn. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.